You are not willing to be part of the solution. Keep our names out of your mouth. Donald Trump, if you are not willing to walk our communities, keep our name out of your mouth. If you are not willing to understand the pride and the beauty of this city and this community, keep our name out of your mouth.
You heard him. You heard Wes. So what's going on, y'all? This is CJ, the content connoisseur, and today we're going to talk about Baltimore. And so that was the governor of Maryland right there. And he talked about walking down their city. So this is what we're going to do, right? We're going to actually walk down the city because he says he wants the president, Donald Trump, to walk down the cities. And so let's see what Donald Trump would see if he's walking down the cities. Let's see.
Colleagues and people who are out here in the streets, you know.
Only thing I seen recently, just only flaggers. I've never seen the governor out here in the streets.
I mean, so what do you make of that? I mean, they're saying that they're out here trying to, you know, discourage, group activity, discourage these things and provide alternatives. I mean, are they?
Where? I haven't seen them. What are they discouraging? Everybody else from wanting to even ask them for any help? They don't have no access to them on a personal level, even through a secretary.
As the three of us continue to walk through Southwest Baltimore, a community ravaged by crime and drugs for decades, the sense of hopelessness expressed by two men in their mid-30s was clear. Both men say they're trying to pursue a life in music and modeling to pay their way out of Baltimore and Maryland. They say they refuse to stop pressing on despite their community, their neighbors, having little to live for.
All they know is these back alleys. It's the life that we know here in Baltimore. It's numbing, but then you think about it, some people, when they go get in their feelings, they can't control themselves. They're not strong enough, and then they just give up.
So that was a little stroll. We're going to go through another stroll through Baltimore because he said Baltimore got it going on. So this is what he's basing this off of. Of course, it's numbers, right? Of course, it's always the numbers, but it's weird because when you talk to the citizens and the residents that live there, it's different. But let's go over the numbers of why the governor is saying everything is going well, you know.
Rate of violent crime. FBA data for 2024. Baltimore.
Wait, I lied. This is the mayor this time. This is the mayor. All right. So the mayor's gonna go over the numbers, and of course the numbers are great. You know what I'm saying? The numbers are great, but I just showed you the video. All right, let's go.
Baltimore still had the third highest rate of violent crime in the United States for cities with populations over 250,000 people. So why not take the extra help from the federal government?
Well, the truth is this, right? We understand those numbers, but we also understand that last year was another consecutive year of historic reductions in gun violence in the city of Baltimore, and that we know the National Guard doesn't work. You're talking about, you and I are right now talking when Baltimore has the fewest amount of homicides through this date on record. Why now? Why not during the president's first term when gun violence was through the roof? We have an approach through our community violence prevention plan, through our comprehensive plan to reduce gun violence the right way in Baltimore, and we're not going to shake from that. We know what works here in Baltimore. We don't need that kind of help.
Meanwhile, so I told y'all, they always show the numbers. They always show the numbers. But we want to hear from the people. That's what I want to hear from the people. I don't. Because in Chicago, they showed where they've changed and renamed a lot of the ways they would say someone got shot or something like that, and they classify it as something else. So it brings it down. And also, a lot of the crimes that are committed by people that are not from America are not reported at all because they don't want ISIS to come in. And so the numbers are not right. I'm just going to keep it real with you. It is what it is. All right, but let's hear from the residents, right? So we walk down Baltimore streets. Now let's hear from what the residents have to say.
The area and the drug dealers and the users won't be around here.
Because right now our city needs it. This city is Baltimore is on fire right now. Like we need as much help as we can get.
I think it's more of a stunt, really. It's just for show. I think what they really need to do is send Baltimore enough funds to hire more police officers.
I've been a resident of Maryland all my life, so
Hold on, this is good. This is, if you don't know who this is, I think you registered. This is Don Lemon, right? This is dude who used to be on CNN. Now he has a YouTube channel, and so he's interviewing people. He's walking up interviewing people, and he walked up and interviewed these two ladies currently in Baltimore right now. So let's see what Don Lemon brings us.
I think it would help some.
Why so?
Coming from a family that was broken up, my husband was murdered 2 years ago, and nothing was ever done.
Murder where? At home?
Right out in front of our house.
Sorry.
It was a carjacking gone wrong, and they shot him in his head. Killed him instantly, so. But again, our lovely mayor didn't do nothing.
Did they ever find the perpetrator?
Nope.
So you want to see it?
Yes, I want justice.
You want justice, and you would like to see the troops here in the National Guard?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that, and I'm sorry you had that experience. The president said he wants to send troops here to Maryland. What do you think, Baltimore into Maryland?
I'm not opposed of it.
Right.
I think it'll be a good idea.
Why so?
Maybe we can clean up some of this crime-ridden neighborhoods.
And so what I think is funny, right, is the people are saying, yes, bring them in. Please bring them in. Please. Please. You know. And, you know, they're like, we don't need it. No necesito. We don't need, right? Let's walk down another street of Baltimore real fast, because maybe that was just one street. Let's walk down another street of Baltimore.
Boy, as we took a tour of one of the roughest neighborhoods in Southwest Baltimore, Carrollton Ridge.
How did you get into the streets?
So to be honest, the streets was in my house. The streets poured all the way off in my house to the point where I ain't had no locks on the door, the windows didn't close, and it was just 24 hours. So it became normal.
According to court records, Dirty Harry was released from incarceration in 2022 after serving 7 years and 10 days in prison for armed carjacking. Both men say they grew up here and had a front row seat to drug dealing. Despite that, they now say they are fighting every day to stay off the street corners and do the right thing. As they are in their fight, both individuals say they see young men in the neighborhood that feel they have limited options to survive.
As somebody who's been in the game, knows it well, I mean, what's your opinion about these group violence interrupters and some of this other, diversion activists that you heard, I've heard, who's out here in the streets?
Or you talking about like the safe streets and the no-shoot zone?
Oh, this is important right here. I want y'all to listen. If you don't listen to none of this video, cool. I get it. This is so important because guess what, y'all? This is what a lot of these people talk about. Is what's getting the numbers down is the different programs they're putting together, right? All the different programs. And so this dude lives there. He's taking them down the street. He's born and raised there. And watch what he says about these programs.
That's right. And what Black Lives Matter and all that.
That's right.
Yeah, where the is they at? Where are they? They ain't out here doing anything. If Black Lives Matter, there wouldn't be so many homeless people or hungry people out here. They walking around chanting like they just throwing a party to me.
You feel like it's just a political movement, or do you feel like they actually care about people like you to get out of these sorts of conditions?
I mean, to me, they just chasing a non-profit grant. They ain't feeding.
Oh, listen. I promise you. I'm gonna show you this last clip, and the last clip, people, I want you to listen to me. This dude is gonna talk a lot about all these different things he's doing, right? and with the money to bring the crime down. And mind you, this video is telling you what's happening to the money. Now listen to what this man is saying. He lives there. He's going through this right now as a resident. This is very important. We're gonna bring it back one more time.
They just chasing a nonprofit grant. But they ain't feeding not a soul out here.
For the past 2 weeks, Baltimore's been in the national spotlight because of a few 2 weeks Baltimore
Grant.
Conditions.
I mean, to me, they just chasing a nonprofit grant. But they ain't feeding not a soul out here.
For the past 2 weeks, Baltimore's been in the national spotlight because of a feud between Maryland Governor Wes Moore and President Donald Trump. The battle started over the governor saying Baltimore doesn't need crime-fighting support from the National Guard, which is currently underway in the nation's capital. During their public fight, Moore invited the president to a crime walk. The president.
So, which brings us to the last clip. All right, the last clip is the governor having a conversation with this person on Fox, and they're having a conversation about crime, obviously, and the things he's doing with the crime. I showed you this video first to show you what is really going on in Baltimore. Not the numbers, not no, what's going on and what the residents are saying. Now let's hear what the governor is saying, because I guarantee you it's going to be two different things.
Thanks for joining the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, Governor, I'm so glad you decided to come on the program. I know you care about your community, and I care about mine as well. And I'm hoping that we can get to some resolutions on how we can come together to make this happen. I want to bring you to one of your cities in your state, and you're a neighbor to Washington, D.C., and we know the actions that the president is taking right now. When you look at the numbers right now, the most dangerous cities list, Baltimore is on number 4 of that. And when it comes to the murders, it's number 3. Now, I know you have been surging resources to Baltimore, investing in the police there, but you don't like the actions that the president is taking right now. Why?
Well, you know, when I came in, I said that the number one priority that we had as administration was to make sure that our communities were safe. You know, before I became governor, for the 8 years before I became the governor, Baltimore City went 8 straight years of 300 plus homicides. The year before I became the governor, Baltimore City averaged about a homicide a day. And I said, I refuse to be a governor who's going to spend my time offering eulogies and giving thoughts and prayers, that we actually had need to have resources and coordination that was going to help to fundamentally address the problem. As people of my state have learned, you know, I don't come from a political background. My background is I'm a soldier. And so what we did was we made historic investments in local law enforcement, that we invested over $50 million in the Baltimore City Police Department alone, that we made historic investments in technologies and predictive analytics, and saying if someone commits a violent crime, particularly with a firearm, I want them in handcuffs in 24 hours. And saying that we made historic investments in our community groups, working with the mayor, working with our county executives, working with the community groups and our violence intervention and violence interruption groups, to making sure we can stop crime before it happens and making sure we don't have this.
Now, what did those people say about the community groups? They said, where are they at? Y'all saw it, right? I didn't make it up. I didn't make it up. You can get off where I got it from. They're questioning it. So I'm, once again, these people cook the numbers, right? They reclassify different things so the numbers come down. But when you actually look and talk to the people, it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of the same.
Retaliatory cycle of violence. And while I know that we still have more work to do, I also know this, is that despite the fact that the year before I became the governor, Baltimore City, again, had a historic streak in violence, that now that the last time the homicide rate was this low in Baltimore City, I was not born yet. So we're making real progress where Maryland is now amongst the fastest dropping states in this country on violent crime. There's ways you can do this, and you have to be able to make sure you're using the right tool to get to the right result.
You know, Mr. Governor, you're right. Y'all have made progress, but there's still some issues there. And this is a resident, and this is what they said in the Baltimore Sun. A 77-year-old woman from Curtis Bay who asked to remain anonymous due to threat levels she's received from drug dealers on her block compared the morning drug traffic to a fast food drive-thru. When a real estate agent assessed her property about a month ago and a half, she said that the agent told her he can't sell this house with that, referring to the 10 or 12 people involved in the drug market, loitering across the street. I'm going to get hurt one day. I know I am, she said. But the mayor responded this way, Governor.
I'm sure you read the article in the Baltimore Sun yesterday talking about how so many Baltimore residents don't recognize their neighborhoods anymore. What do you say to those residents of Baltimore who may think that citing falling crime statistics glosses over some of the harsher day-to-day realities and needs that they have to their lives in Baltimore, need for things to change even further in terms of just regular drug trafficking?
Yeah, so we're only having that discussion because the president is having that discussion. And this, I want to be very clear. I didn't read.
People, y'all saw the list, right? Baltimore was 4. They said Baltimore was 3 on people, you know, not being with us anymore. We're only having this conversation because the president's talking about it. Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Listen, he's a brother, you know, and shout out to him for having a position of power, but don't let this politics get your people killed, man. This is bad, man. This is so bad. But it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get a lot worse.
The Baltimore Sun article, I don't read it because they're a part of the president's propaganda machine.
So, Mr. Governor, I know people go back and forth in the politics and Donald Trump and all this, but this is what the locals are saying. This is not some partisan thing.
Well, I mean, my heart breaks for that woman in Curtis Bay. And it breaks for anyone who does not feel safe in their own neighborhoods and in their own communities anywhere in the state of Maryland. And I think the people of the state of Maryland know and have seen through our actions that the number one priority that we have is making sure that people can feel safe in their own neighborhoods, in their own communities, and in their own skin. That we're making sure that people who commit crimes, that they are held accountable for the crimes that they commit, but also that we're improving better systems that are making sure that they are also accountable to actually focusing on rehabilitation and helping people get back into the community with a real pathway for long-term success.
Hold on just a second. Hold on. Hold on. He said the community. Hold on. I'm lost. I'm hold on.
Oh, is the crime bad?
Hold on.
We are going to continue to examine
to them on a personal.
Do y'all see the community? What are you going back to? What are you going back to? Did you see the buildings? The buildings were falling apart. What are you going back to? What do you mean? So you going back to this? This is what we're going back to? We're gonna rehabilitate them and bring them back to this. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Oh, God. Do you know why lowering the crime is so important, y'all? And I'm gonna end it with this. This is so important. I'm gonna do a video on this coming up this week. It's because when you lower crime, people now that have money want to invest in your city. Let me give you an example, right? Oakland, California. They're losing In-N-Out, the franchise. Now, to y'all, that's not a And food, a burger franchise means nothing. California, In-N-Out is one of the staple hamburger franchises in San Diego, in California. I'm in San Diego, but in California in general, that is a staple. That is our Burger King. And so they can't keep our Burger King in Oakland, in California. It is so bad. I'm going to get the clip later, where people are now allowed to go in the In-N-Out. They have to stay in their car and they have to use a drive-through, because if they don't, their car's going to get broken into in Oakland, California. And I'm bringing this to illustrate the point that when crime goes down, business goes up, because people are willing to now invest and spend money. But crime has to go down first. Those buildings were crazy. And you know what's so crazy? Because their buildings are so low, the property is low. And so it would be cheap to buy it all. But what stores are there? What mall is there? What economy is there? There's nothing there. So if you build up the residential, there's nothing, the people to spend money and make money and all that. There's nothing there. But anyway, CJ, hope you had a good time. I did. I'm out.